two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Kyoto, where we lay our scene. In the city of Kyoto, two noble families, the Fujimotos and the Watanabes, have been feuding for generations. Their hatred for each other runs deep, causing constant brawls and unrest in the city. Ryo Fujimoto, a young man with a romantic heart, is infatuated with a woman named Rina, who does not return his feelings. His friends, Benjiro and Makoto, try to cheer him up and persuade him to forget Rina. They decide to crash a grand party hosted by the Watanabes, hoping Ryo will find someone new to love. At the Watanabe's ball, Ryo's eyes fall upon Junko, the beautiful young daughter of Lord Watanabe. Despite the mask he wears, Junko captivates him instantly, and he forgets all about Rina. Unbeknownst to him, Junko is equally smitten by this charming stranger. As the night progresses, Ryo and Junko meet and share a sonnet, falling in love at first sight. But their happiness is short-lived. Junko's nurse soon interrupts them, and they learn each other's identities. Ryo, a Fujimoto, and Junko, a Watanabe. Despite the shocking revelation, their love remains unwavering. Unable to stay apart, Ryo sneaks into the Watanabe's garden that night and finds Junko on her balcony. In a heartfelt exchange, they vow to defy their family's hatred and secretly marry. With the help of Friar Takahiro, who hopes their union will end the feud, they are wed the next day. Their joy, however, is short-lived. Taro, Junko's hot-tempered cousin, challenges Ryo to a duel to avenge the Fujimoto's intrusion at the ball. Ryo refuses to fight Taro, now considering him family, but Makoto takes up the challenge. In the ensuing fight, Makoto is mortally wounded. Grief-stricken and enraged, Ryo retaliates and kills Taro. Ryo is banished from Kyoto by the prince, who decrees death if he returns. Before he leaves, he spends one final night with Junko. They part with heavy hearts, not knowing when they will see each other again. In the meantime, Junko's parents, unaware of her secret marriage, plan to marry her off to Haruto, a nobleman. Desperate to avoid this fate, Junko seeks Friar Takahiro's help. He devises a daring plan. Junko will drink a potion that simulates death, making her appear lifeless for 42 hours. During this time, Ryo will retrieve her from the Watanabe's tomb, and they will escape together. Junko consents and takes the potion, falling into a death-like sleep. The next morning, her family discovers her lifeless body and, devastated, lays her to rest in the family tomb. However, the message explaining the plan fails to reach Ryo. Instead, he hears of Junko's death from his servant, Banta. Overcome with grief, Ryo returns to Kyoto, determined to join Junko in death. He procures a deadly poison and goes to Junko's tomb. At the tomb, Ryo encounters Haruto, who has come to mourn Junko. They duel, and Haruto is slain. Ryo, believing Junko to be truly dead, takes the poison and dies beside her. Moments later, Junko awakens and finds Ryo's lifeless body. Distraught, she attempts to kiss the poison from his lips, but fails. Hearing the approaching guards, she takes Ryo's dagger and plunges it into her heart, dying beside him. The tragic deaths of Ryo and Junko finally bring the feuding families together. Stricken by the consequences of their enmity, the Fujimotos and Watanabes reconcile, vowing to end their bitter feud in honor of their children's love and sacrifice. Thus ends the tragic tale of Ryo and Junko, a story of love, fate, and the destructive power of hate.